You've been staring at the same problem for 3 hours. You haven't solved anything, but your brain is absolutely convinced it's working. That's not focus. That's not discipline. That's a trap. And almost every human alive falls into it without ever realizing it. Here's what's actually happening inside your skull. When you overthink, your brain activates a network called the default mode network. Think of it as your brain's background radio. It runs constantly, replaying memories, imagining futures, talking to itself. And when a problem feels unresolved, this network locks onto it like a dog with a bone. The brain interprets this looping as effort. It feels productive because there's activity, there's energy, there's motion. But motion is not the same as progress. Your brain literally cannot tell the difference between thinking about a solution and moving toward one. This is where neuroscience gets uncomfortable. The prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain behind your forehead that handles real reasoning and decision-making, actually goes quieter during overthinking. The emotional centers take over instead. You're not solving anything. You're feeling your way around in the dark and calling it strategy. Meet someone like Daniel, 29 years old, smart, thoughtful. The kind of person who reads articles about productivity at midnight while not sleeping, because he's still mentally rewriting an email he sent 6 hours ago. Daniel had a difficult conversation with his manager at work. Nothing catastrophic, but that night, he replayed it 40, maybe 50 times. He rewrote what he should have said. He imagined different outcomes. He planned responses to things that hadn't even happened yet. By 2 in the morning, he felt strangely accomplished, like he'd prepared himself, like he'd done the work. He hadn't. He woke up exhausted, no closer to any resolution, and the original situation hadn't changed by a single degree. The stunning part? Daniel would do the same thing the next night, and the next, because each time he overthought, his brain rewarded him with a faint sense of control, a false sense of control, and the brain will chase that feeling even when it costs everything else. Now here's the part that most people never hear. Overthinking doesn't just feel like problem solving. It's actually designed to feel that way. Humans evolved in environments where anticipating danger kept us alive. The brain that could imagine a predator before it arrived survived longer than the brain that couldn't. Rumination, the technical word for mental looping, was originally a feature. In the wild, obsessively reviewing a threat could mean the difference between life and death. The problem is that your modern brain is running ancient software on a completely different world. Your nervous system cannot distinguish between a genuine threat and an unread email from your boss, between physical danger and social embarrassment, between a predator and a conversation you're afraid to have. It treats them all the same, and it responds the same way, by thinking harder, circling longer, burning more energy on the same unsolvable loop. And here's the deeper truth. The more intelligent you are, the more elaborate your loops become. Higher cognitive ability doesn't protect you from overthinking. It makes you better at it. You build more convincing simulations, more detailed worst-case scenarios, more sophisticated reasons to stay stuck. Your mind becomes a more powerful prison precisely because of your capacity to think. So what actually works? Not more thinking. The research here is clear and slightly counterintuitive. The first thing is what neuroscientists call cognitive defusion. And it sounds abstract until you try it. Instead of treating every thought as true and urgent, you label it. You notice the thought and you name it without obeying it. Not something terrible is going to happen at work, but I'm having the thought that something terrible might happen at work. That tiny linguistic shift changes which part of your brain is active. It moves you from inside the thought to outside it. The prefrontal cortex wakes back up. The emotional flood calms slightly. You're no longer the thought. You're the one observing it. The second thing is behavioral activation, which simply means doing something small and physical in the direction of the actual problem. Not solving everything, not having the perfect conversation, just one real action. Drafting one sentence of the email, making one 5-minute decision, moving your body through one concrete step. This interrupts the loop because the brain's threat response quiets when it detects forward movement, any movement. It interprets action as safety. Daniel figured this out eventually, not from reading another productivity article at midnight, from a single evening where he was so exhausted from his own mind that he just wrote the email, messy, imperfect, 2 sentences, and sent it. And the loop stopped, just like that, because the brain doesn't need resolution. It needs evidence that you're moving. The most dangerous thing about overthinking isn't that it wastes time. It's that it feels so much like thinking that you never question it. If this changed the way you see your brain, subscribe to Mind Drift. Every week we go deeper into the science of who you are.